Hello and welcome to another of my live DIY meta ads, meta being Facebook and Instagram. Bit late this week, I should have gone live yesterday, but I ran out of steam, yesterday being Friday here in Australia, today being Saturday, so it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon of Saturday. Managed to have a very nice sleep in, thank you very much, despite a not so much fun night where we had Yahoos outside that I had to call the police on, but never mind. What I wanted to look at today was another one in my series of, as I say, DIY meta ad videos. This one is a follow-on from one I did a couple of weeks ago now, or maybe even more, where I went through the, I'm just going to present the screen. I went through a lot of the numbers that we see on Facebook, and I gave you a bit of an explanation of the more common ones of those, certainly not all of them, because there literally is hundreds of metrics behind Facebook. So we're back to the, the Pet Care Magic ad account that we've been looking at over the last few months, couple of months. What I wanted to do today was expand on that numbers video, and the link is down in the description if you want to go back and refresh your memory on that, and talk about the fact that what I see so often is business owners, and I even see contractors do it who should know much better, but I see, right, we've set up these ads, we've got these ads running, and that's it. That's all they do. And people talk about, so what is the ROAS getting, which is important, don't get me wrong, but it's not the only metric. They don't have a look at what sort of reports they can be generating out of that account. There's a talk, if you talk to sort of the big agencies, they say, well, we only use, Triple Whale and Supermetrics, and there's quite a few. They're really, really expensive. Like I'm talking a couple of $100 a month programs where data comes from Facebook and goes into these programs and then allows really pretty reports to be done. And they're pretty, don't get me wrong, and I work often with agencies where I am doing those reports for them, but that's for the client, not for me. So what I wanted to look at today was this report function. This is on campaigns, we've got ad sets, obviously, and then we've got ads. But have a look, see this button over here that says reports? Have you ever looked at it? What you can do is you can set, if you go to the other video I did, I showed you how to do, oops, not that one, this one. I showed you how to change the default view of what you're seeing in these columns. I'll just make that a bit smaller for the moment. How to change these default views, how to customize the columns. So I'll just go over that quickly. Again, just to refresh your memory. Now you can pick a whole lot of different metrics here. You can even create custom metrics. To be honest, I've never done that because there's so many metrics here. I've got more than enough to look at. But you can go and have a look at a variety of measurements of what your ads are doing. And I suggest to you that that it's a number of measurements you need to be looking at. Again, I have a problem with both contractors and agencies and business owners that say, I only want to know what the ROAS is. Well, no, you don't actually. You want to know a lot more than the ROAS, and go to the other videos and you hear me talk about Facebook funnels and reach and impressions and click-through rates and, video views, percentages, etc., etc., etc. They will all tell you the story, and that's what these metrics are here for. They're here to tell you the story of how your ads are performing, not only how they're performing, but they're here to give you great ideas about how you can optimize what's going on. So there's a number of things we do when we do Facebook ads or meta ads, Facebook plus Instagram. Firstly, we set them up. We say, okay, what strategy are we going to use here? And how will we apply that strategy to the campaigns and the ad sets and the ads, audiences, budgets, copy, creative, blah, 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 blah. And then we set it up. And then you should be looking at how well that setup is performing. Once you've got sales happening or leads coming in, depending on whether it's a lead gen or an e-commerce ads, but you're then saying, okay, so how do we get the best possible results? How do we get in Australian parlance, the best bang for our buck. And you do that by going and looking through all of these reporting and maximizing every piece. You maximize the reach, you maximize the number of impressions, you maximize the percentage of people looking at more than 25% of the video, the ones looking at 95 and 100%. You maximize view time of videos. You maximize click-through rates, outbound click-through rates, unique click-through rates. You maximize the numbers of ads to carts, which is this one. You maximize the ads to, you know, you maximize checkouts initiated. You maximize every single step. And by maximizing every step, that is going to get the overall campaign or the overall ads. And I have a struggling, because when we say ads, as a Facebook ad manager, what I tend to think of is just an ad. But you maximize what you're doing. You maximize your advertising. So I'll use that instead of ads, ad set. You maximize that to get the best possible result. And that doesn't happen overnight. It certainly doesn't happen in the first day or so of doing Facebook ads. I suggest to you that it doesn't even happen in the first 3 months of doing Facebook ads. It may happen in the first 12 months, but Facebook again, I'm saying I'm sticking to the old Facebook because I'm so used to doing it. Meta ads is about longer term, not shorter term. It's a bit like if you're playing the stock market. They always say to you, don't play the stock market for the results you're going to get for a week. You play the stock market for the results you're going to get over decades. You know, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 10 years, 20 years, 15 years, you know, and then over the lifetime of the time you've been playing the stock market. Meta ads are exactly the same. They are not a quick hit and miss sort of thing. In fact, they're going to be more misses than hits if you're only going to go in and delve in and out. So what I really wanted to look at, you know, you can go and change all these views, but there is another way to change all that, and that is set whatever your columns here are to what you're going to be. I tend to use, and if you go to that other video I suggested, you'll see how why I use this results as a default quite often. Today I wanted to delve into the reporting structure that you can use. And I'm just going to make this a bit bigger so you can see what I'm looking at. These reports, see here, if you click on that, you can actually export everything that you've got sitting here in this data table. You can export it out to ads reporting. To be honest, I've never done that. You can export to Excel, to a CSV, or Meta Ads Manager for Excel. Again, I don't use that one. I usually, if I'm going to export this out, I usually tend to export out as an Excel file. I'm old school. I came from computing before Excel even existed. I usually often like to download data. So if I'm doing an audit of an account, and I've got an audit of a big account to do starting on Monday, what I will do is I will export a lot of data, and then I start manipulating that data around in Excel, because I'm trying to work out, I'm trying to match things in Excel. I possibly will go into that to you at a later date, but not today. Yes, I know you can get all sorts of things from all these new big programs that they use. I'm a bit of a cheapskate. Why pay a couple $100 a month when Excel will do it for me for the same amount of money? Or as in free, or as in the subscription I pay to my Microsoft Office account, which is, I think, about $20 a month. Or here on the back end of Facebook, because the back end of Facebook here, when you go to the next step we're going to go to, is actually very, very powerful. So you can export it out, you can export and then go and do all sorts of things you want to do with it, or you can create a custom report. And this is the bit that I really like. So it's now going into the reporting, view more breakdowns. Yes, thanks, Facebook. I don't really need to know all this. So here on this back end, so it's flicked in now into the report section. So it's called ads reporting. Call it whatever you want to call it, test report. Now the beauty here is if you're wanting to run the same sort of report over and over and over again, and I do this a lot when I'm running Facebook ads, I might want to see the same metrics reported on a daily basis, a month or a monthly basis or a weekly basis. So I'll go into here and I will customize a report. I'm just going to go to reports. I don't save. So as you can see here, there's various reports that I've created in the past for various things. This is the Pet Care Magic ads that you might have heard me talk about. I've been running these since about the 1st of December, or more than that actually, since about the sort of second half of, or third quarter of 2022. I've at some stage gone in and created a report. Now, if I want to look then at what is that doing, oh, I hate this. If I want to look at what is that doing over a period of time, often on Facebook ad work when I'm doing it, or Meta ad work when I'm doing it, I will be wanting to pull down data every month. I'll be doing that when I do this audit on Monday. So I'll be saying for this period to this period, I will pull down the same metrics and then I will look at them for the next period I want to compare them to. So usually on a big ad account when I'm doing an audit, it's by quarter. So quarter one, what were these metrics doing? Quarter two, what would these, and it's the same metrics. And I'll customize this by selecting. So I can select two ways of breakdowns in the back end here. I can select it via which part of, whether it's a campaign name, an ad set, an ad name, a page name, or an ad creative. I can break down by age, gender, country. Now, you will see all the same things as these on the front end where we were looking for before, but it's just got a slightly different way to set it up. And then I will look at they're popular breakdowns. They're obviously the sort of like the favorites. So I can actually go in and compare across. Let's say I've got a whole stack of campaigns going on, and I want to compare different, like ads in. I've got 5 campaigns going on, and I want to compare 2 sorts of ads within each of those campaigns and put them together. So the beauty of here is I can click things on, and it gives you a better way to visualize the data than does on the front end of the reports. Page name. I've only got one ad account in here, so the page name does vary because I can sometimes run ads off different page names. Do I run it off a week? So I want to know per day. It's taking a load. This will give me the results per day. So what I always find is in meta ads, in fact, in any data analysis, it's not about what the data is doing at a specific point in time, like, at 4 p.m. on the 25th of February 2023, the data was the metric said this. It's about trends in data. And that's what I find I don't see a lot of people talking about in any sort of marketing, actually. What are the trends? So I will be pulling down data that says over these, let's say over these 7 days, what was happening? Were the impressions going up, going down, staying steady? Was the ROAS going up, going down, staying steady? And over what day? So I'll be wanting to do the trends. So we don't want. So over the days, lost it now. Where are the days? Come back here. Day. So day all. I don't know why it's done day all. Probably because I've got it on far too bigger. The last 7 days. Oh, yes, there was no data during the last 7 days because I wasn't running ads. I started one the other day, so let's I don't know whether I can pull it up. December 22 is going to be good because I was consistently running data through that. I don't know why it's doing that. Okay, now it's getting some ad set. So okay, this is what's pulling up. There is an active ad out there at the moment, which is this one, which I only started the other day. So you can choose all sorts of different types of breakdowns. It's going to give you quite a lot of information. Then you can also choose all your different metrics: amount spent, impressions, reach, results. As I say, these are the same metrics that you've got on your front end, but you're going to be able to move things around and compare things in a much easier way. You can also group and ungroup. Oh, I thought this was the ad I started the other day. It's not. It's the ad that was running on the 19th of November. It wasn't running on this ad account, which is why it's giving it an odd answer, an odd result. You can go and look at trends. There's no data here, so it's still coming up with a decent trend. You can look at trends, you can look at bars, you can look at pivots, you can do all sorts of, and remember, this is free. So this is the sort of stuff that things like Supermetrics and Triple Whale and that are charging you for a lot of money for. So this is all free, and it is the back end of the Meta accounts, of the ad account. You can customize it. Excuse me, I'm going to sneeze. You can do all sorts of setups you like here. You can manipulate up and down. You can move. Doesn't want to move, does it? HM. So you can move things around. So it just gives you a much better way, a better way, I believe, than the front end of Facebook of being able to see things. You can look at any of your custom conversions that you might have set up. And then you can either share it to somebody inside or outside of your ad account. You can export it, same thing, to a formatted data table in Excel, to a raw data table, to a CSV, or you can export it as an image. You can include summary rows. You may not necessarily. You can name it whatever you want to name it. It's quite a lot you can do here. Oh, I haven't looked at those before. It's amazing when you're doing something like this and you go and have a look at what there is. If you've created this report and you think, well, I'm going to need to run that report every month or every week or every fortnight or every quarter, depending on, it doesn't really matter what it is, but whatever you set it at, because remember, you can customize the time, then save it as something, and then you can go back in. It's not on this ad account, but on other ad accounts, particularly if I'm running it and campaigns for clients over like a 6-month period, then I'll end up running these reports, and every week, say, or every month, I will go into the back end of this report and just quickly change the dates and rerun it again. It's great then to also share across to the they don't need access, and that's half our problem often when we're doing this. We don't want, often particularly if you're working for a client that doesn't know their way around their back end of their meta set up, you just export it and share it across to across to your, your agency or the business you're working for. Another thing is that I can actually, had it before and now it seems to have gone. You can actually compare. Can't find where it was now. You can actually compare. It probably doesn't like it because it's on. I'm just going to get out of the expanded size for a moment. You can often go and I can't for the life of me find it. You can often go and do a comparison. Thank you, people next door, for deciding to work on your hotted up cars while I'm cutting one of these. Now I know why I don't do it on Saturdays. I don't save. I may have to go across to another ads manager to see what I'm doing there. Go across to this one. So, obviously you can skip between ad sets as you're doing it. Yeah, I know about that. I know why it's not showing up. Got one day. Now I'm trying to find where you can actually compare dates, and for the life of me, I cannot find it right at the moment, because you can normally have, there is a setting where you can actually show increases and decreases, and obviously I don't use it very often because I can't find it now. I'm going to go back to the ad account for the moment. You can decrease it or increase it by amount spent. So let's say I want to find out on which days did I do the lowest amount spent versus the highest amount spent. And then what do you do with that then? So once you run all these reports, you're looking at, I tend mostly to not manipulate here in the back end. I tend mostly to then export out to Excel, so that I've done the grouping and the looking at everything that I want to, so comparing what I want to compare together in here. As you can see, there's some very narrow periods of ad spend in here. Sorry, I digress when I look at these sorts of things because my mind starts going off into another. Don't save. And so that you would then take it out to, I prefer to take it out to Excel because that's where I'm used to seeing things happen. And I will And there's report templates, all sorts of different templates you can use. I would tend to take it out to Excel, and that's when the real work happens. So what is this data trying to tell me? Going out into an ads manager. I didn't want to go out into that one. So I can't find the compare window. It disappeared on me. Never mind. It was show back up. This is also a really great place where you can get, if you're using dynamic creative, when you've got the various bits of different creative being used. Sometimes it will pull through and show you the results on them, but not always. Sometimes it just puts the ad creative in together in all. See what it's doing almost there. Depends on how the original campaign has been set up. But it can at times be fairly good if you've got different videos and things that you want to try and see results on a particular video. So now, because I've got trying to do it on all. Just wanted to have a look at this. You can create a custom breakdown. Now, I've never really looked at this before. Use filters to group data into segments that will be added to the tables as rows. Contains. I'd have to know what I used as an image name. Contains, and you could put the image name in there. I'm just going to go back to the ads manager for a moment and so do I have more than one image? No, I picked it. I picked the wrong ad. Not the carousels. Trying to pick up the, okay, there we are, that's what I want. So if I went back in and found what the name of that image was, so there, okay. Don't want to be on a video, I want to be on a, right there, see this one? If I go and pick up that, underscore done for you. Is it a gap or not? There's a gap. Okay, apply. No campaigns found, of course, because there is nothing in the month. So when you hear, I often hear people say, I don't like using dynamic creative because I can't find out what the results are. This is the answer to that. We've got to call it a name, we've got a description, we've got to create it and say, who wants to see it? Because it's defaulted to that. So as you can see, I mean, it's a very hard one on my shared screen, but as you can see, there is so much data and information you can pull out of here. Let's get rid of campaign name, get rid of ad set name. There's so many ways you can manipulate the data. And that's honestly, people say, why do I pay what I pay to a Facebook ad manager when they're, after it's set up? Well, here's the answer. The answer is we can literally lose ourselves for hours in looking at all this sort of data and knowing what to do with this sort of data. Obviously, I'm not demonstrating that terribly well here right now because I need to be going and saying, what am I doing? Why am I doing it? That's a whole different thought process than when I'm trying to talk to a camera. But looking at this and then looking at it and saying, okay, so this is the story it's given me, and I need to do A, B, C, and D to make that ad, the ad, and then the ad set, and then the campaign, and then the overall results more optimized for this client. By looking at it and saying, well, this bit's letting me down, but that bit's performing very well, and if we did this, we would get that. That is called optimizing what you were doing. And that's what you pay for, and also, in my belief, why people business owners who don't know their way around meta ads, and Google ads is exactly the same. That's why a lot of them are not successful, because they don't understand that the hard work starts after we've done the setup, and that you've got to go in there constantly and start looking at all this and understanding what all this means. And not only understanding what it means, but understanding what to do when you see what you see. So that's about all I can go into for now, because there is an awful lot to go over. If you like what you've seen, please tell me. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, click on the notifications bell for knowing when I'm scheduled to go live and when I am going live. It's a little bit inconsistent at the moment because it just does depend on what's happening in my life. Stop sharing. If you have some suggestions for what you would like to see done. I mean, I'm starting to run out of the DIY meta ad stuff and getting more into more general marketing topics. And I'm also looking for people who would like to come on the channel and have me do what I do. I'm very limited in terms of what I can do, and showing real audits of people, clients' accounts, because obviously that breaks an NDA. But I am on the hunt for people who want to come on, let me see the back end of their Facebook ad manager and help them in live time. Obviously, you need to be videoed. If you want to put your face on there, we can. If you want to keep your face off, we can also do that. So let me know. I hope you've enjoyed all this, and I am going to go back to playing with puppies for the rest of the weekend. Have a great one and talk soon.